Hey everyone, and a warm welcome. First off, to a quick reminder that this is a revised version of the morning call as we observe and comply with all the necessary measures set in place to protect ourselves and save lives by halting the spread of the COVID-19. And now, a major arrest of a top aide in the Democratic Republic of Congo DRC. Vital Kamerhe, who is Chief of Staff to President Felix Tshisekedi, was arrested Wednesday after testifying in an investigation into the alleged misappropriation of public funds. His arrest followed hours of testimony at the public prosecutor's office into how $304 million infrastructure fund he oversaw was spent. Kamerhe hasn't been charged, but he's been held at the Kinshasa Makal Prison. Now, it is very rare in the DRC to see someone as visible and well known as Kamerhe to be held accountable for corruption. The reason why this is indeed highly symbolic. So, who really is Vital Kamerhe? After a long spell as Speaker of Parliament, Kamerhe became a key figure on the political scene in the DRC. The 61-year-old is in fact seen as a potential successor to President Felix Tshisekedi in 2023, with some reports claiming an agreement was made for this. His arrest now puts much into question in the country's political alliances. Already, his allies, including close associates and MPs from the UNC party, of which Mr. Kamerhe is president, have denounced the arrest and called for his unconditional release. Meanwhile, some civil society and activist groups such as Lucha, the Lucha movement, are instead calling for his suspension from the Chief of Staff office. For more on this, we're now being joined by Stewart Mohindo from Lucha, a top activist group in the Central African country. Stewart, a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. I'll just go right into it. Your group is calling for the suspension of Vital Kamerhe from his office. He has been investigated and now arrested. Why this call?
Oui, c'est important en fait qu'il soit suspendu de ses fonctions de directeur de cabinet du président de la République.
Yes, it is important that the Chief of Staff of the Presidency of the Republic be suspended from his office so that his function does not interfere with the cause of justice.
On est sûr qu'il n'y aura pas d'interférence politique sur le...
If he no longer holds any office, we are sure that he will not interfere with the judicial process. We are insisting on this because we want to make sure that the judicial process is not compromised. There have been many requests that Vital Kamerhe, who was practically the manager of the 100-day program and who is suspended in other cases, the 15 million case, be indicted in these various embezzlements. For us, it is really a step in the right direction. But the fact remains that the judicial process must be normal and must lead to the truth. It is also important to know that Kamerhe is not the only one who manifested himself in financial wrongdoing and committed economic crimes in the context of the case under discussion during the first year of Tshisekedi's power. But it is also important that cases be filed against other actors who in one way or the other contributed to the theft of public resources.
I see, Stewart, but let me draw your attention to the fact that Kamerhe is currently presumed innocent.
What we've always demanded is that he should be brought before the courts, that they should conduct the legal proceedings in complete independence. What we were intrigued by is the fact that there are well-documented facts, particularly from the finance department, which prove his involvement. But there is visible evidence that the 100-day program was very badly managed. But that he, who is repeatedly cited as the manager, we are not saying that Kamerhe is guilty. We are saying that it is a good thing that he is finally being heard, and we call on the magistrate to continue to work without political interference, respecting Kamerhe's rights, including the presumption of innocence.
Indeed. Finally now, do you support the calls for justice for corruption cases carried out under former President Joseph Kabila? Shouldn't the justice system take an interest in this as well?
Exactly. There are many cases that have been coming back of recent. There is the case of Aide, the head of Gekamins. There is not only him, there is the use of public funds for the campaign of Emmanuel Ramazani Shadari, chosen by Kabila. Kabila's governance had been characterized by excessive corruption and the misuse of public resources. And it's also time that the judiciary should take an interest on that. The fight against impunity should not be selective. It should also target those who were involved before the arrival of Felix Tshisekedi. They should all be identified and judged in accordance with the laws of the Republic.
Stewart, I'd like to thank you for joining us on the program and sharing your thoughts and position as a group with us. Thank you very much. This is how much we can take. Thank you. Stewart Muhindo, spokesperson of the Luka Movement, a civil society activist group in the DRC, speaking to us there from Beni.